Her name was Blondie, a 20-year-old burlesque dancer accused of grooming a 13-year-old boy. She left Australia during COVID, even though there was an arrest warrant. 3 years on, we've tracked her down.
If you were a man and he was a woman,
I'm not a man,
you'd
so
probably be arrested.
It's frustrating. She's made a joke of the whole system.
And you don't seem to care about that.
I don't care.
Bethany Edgecombe, better known as Blondie, was a burlesque dancer busted by a current affair over her unhealthy interest in a 13-year-old boy.
You're a predator. You're as much of a predator as any man that's ever stalked a child.
Peter brought the case to a current affairs attention 3 years ago. He knows the boy and was acting as a spokesperson on behalf of the boy's family, who ACA chose not to identify.
Kids are not your toys. Children are to be left alone. It's that simple.
The messages sent to the 13-year-old were disturbing.
I call dibs on that virginity.
Sure.
Hold on to that virginity. I'll be going past your part of town in a week or two.
Yes, keen.
And don't tell anyone. Don't think you're even legal.
Okay, I won't.
How old are you?
13.
I really must be a pedo, 'cause that's so hot.
She also sent 4 naked pictures of herself and a request for him to send her intimate photos too. Nudity doesn't seem to be an issue for Blondie, even at peak hour on one of Melbourne's busiest streets when we first confronted her.
So what have you got to say to this boy's parents about your contact that you've been having with him? Okay. Wow. That's what you'd like to say to this boy's parents?
Thank you very much.
Eventually admitting she was messaging the boy.
How many other underage boys have you been sending nude photos to?
It actually only was this one boy.
But claiming she had no intention to ever meet him, despite text messages saying she would.
Instead of being sent to the police, I've been sent a current affair.
Well, let's see what the police have to say about it,
Let's
eh?
see. Okay, good. That's great.
After that story aired, Queensland Police stepped up its investigation and issued an arrest warrant for their Victorian counterparts to bring Bethany Edgecombe in for questioning. That was in March 2020, just before the pandemic paralysed Australia, heavily restricting interstate travel. By April, Blondie had escaped the country, popping up in Greece, Italy and the UK in dozens of social media posts. How have you felt seeing her flaunting her life in Europe from all these exotic locations?
It's annoying. She's just doing what she wants. She's getting away with it, and nothing's been done.
Peter says the boy's family has become frustrated that 3 years on, she still hasn't been questioned by police.
I don't know how you get out of a country when there's an arrest warrant for you. You know, like, your name is flagged. It's not like crossing a border, you know, you're leaving an international airport, arriving at another international airport on a name that's been flagged. It makes no sense.
Blondie has now become a brunette and found a new job too, now starring in adult films with the name Atlantis Deep, even asking her old friends on New South Wales' Central Coast to vote for her in what she called the Porn Oscars.
I'd be so touched if you voted for me as hottest newcomer.
Hey, I'm Atlantis. I'm 23.
She's also now live streaming her every move for a year in what the English press called lewd films, even telling one newspaper she'd dropped out of a journalism degree before leaving Australia.
The camera here is up in the corner and shoots down.
At the end of the day, if she's got to spend her entire life selling herself online, then, you know, that's pretty sad.
Adding even more frustration, it appears Bethany Edgecombe may have returned to Australia last year, posting pics with her new hairstyle in Sydney Harbour. When asked if she had returned home, she replied,
Back in London again now.
So with an arrest warrant out for Bethany, she's managed to skip out during COVID lockdowns and get back. And with no attention from the police. It's frustrating.
Queensland Police confirmed it had issued an arrest warrant for the woman on 2 counts of indecent treatment of a child and 1 count each of grooming and using the internet to procure.
International extraditions are a complex and timely process which need to be approved at a Commonwealth level. Police are currently seeking advice regarding the likely penalty that these offences may incur, which will inform part of the considerations regarding any extradition. If the police don't take this any further, they've just basically knocked on my door. They've knocked on the door of every other parent in the country and they've said, sorry, but we're going to let people do this to your kids.
Peter says the boy's family initially contacted A Current Affair as they felt their case wasn't being treated seriously enough due to the gender of the alleged offender.
Do you realise what would be happening if this was a man, a 20-year-old man, sending it to a 13-year-old girl?
Would A Current Affair be there? Because A Current Affair is apparently here now.
Yeah, we are. Because it's a serious issue.
How do you believe this case may have panned out differently if the alleged offender was a man?
It's still double standards. We wouldn't be sitting here now if it was the other way around. If it was a male doing it to a female, it would have been resolved. It would have been stopped.
So if I get arrested, you can come back and interview me then.
Okay.
Until then, buzz off. Seriously.
Sorry, Bethany, Dan Nolan's not the type to buzz off. If you have any information on her whereabouts, please get in touch.